So let's talk about the ECG. So this is the Electro Cardiogram, also called the EKG. So the EKG is the sum of all action potentials in the heart. So the EKG is this machine where they put nodes on your chest, and those nodes pick up the action potentials that are occurring in the heart. So the graph that comes up from that looks like this, and it has little bumps and waves or whatever you want to call it, and they're labeled. So you have the P, Q, R, S, and T notches there. So this P wave here, so the P wave there, there we go. The P wave up here. The P wave shows atrial depolarization. Now this is electrical. It is not showing atrial contraction. It's showing atrial depolarization, which is what stimulates contraction. This area from here to here is the QRS complex. And that shows ventricular depolarization. The last little bump, this one here, is the T wave. And it shows ventricular repolarization. So what happened to atrial repolarization? Well, atrial repolarization occurs during the QRS complex, so you don't see it. It's overshadowed by ventricular depolarization, but right here is also atrial repolarization. So we can look at this EKG during the heart cycle, a heartbeat, and show the flow of exactly what's happening as far as atrial contraction and relaxation, and ventricular contraction and relaxation. So as far as the cardiac cycle goes, basically the cardiac cycle, which we'll talk about in a bit, so the cardiac cycle, this is what happens during one heartbeat. So what occurs during one heartbeat? So we need to get some sort of vocabulary out of the way here to understand or be able to talk about the cardiac cycle. So the first thing is called systole. Systole means contraction. So we are going to look at atrial contraction and ventricular contraction. And then the other thing is diastole. And diastole is relaxation. So we're going to look at atrial relaxation and ventricular relaxation. So the cardiac cycle, which is where we're going next, basically we're going to look at the series of events where blood, of course, enters the atria and then the blood drops into the ventricle and then is forced into the ventricle and then is pumped from the ventricle into the systemic circulation and to the pulmonic circulation, and then goes back to the atria. So all of that occurs in one heartbeat, and we can monitor that with the EKG, the sum of action potentials. So we'll also look at volume changes, pressure changes, and maybe even heart sounds with it.